What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We're in pre-show status. What does that mean? It just means that Spraley isn't on yet. So we're coming on a little bit ahead of time to say hello, see how everybody's doing, see what's up. Hope you're doing well. Pre-show goes on from 6:50 till 7. Please get out there and share and like. Everyone's doing a great job. Got about 33% of the people who've shown up so far liked. We appreciate that. That helps out. That makes it happen. Lee, welcome to the show. It's also making sure we get everything 5x5 before we get started. Making sure we're Lima Charlie. Hey, Tam, how are you? Good to see you, sister. See if I can find something here I'm looking for. See what we got going on here. We got a good number on. It's great. Livia's not here tonight. She is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We think we might be here for Thursday's show. We're waiting to see because it might rain, and if it rains, then we're not going to have a baseball game, obviously. We should be getting some updates here. There they are. Good. Now we're working. All right, Sandra, thank you for sharing the stream. Appreciate that. Folks, if you don't know, a couple things is we've got the, we're simpling things down. There used to be the dumshow.com alone. Now we've got the Dumb Club for membership for those people who just constantly donate. We appreciate it. You should get something for your donation. And you can do that now. Give a monthly donation, and then we've got clubs full of goodies over at thedumclub.com. Go take a look and read it all. There's a whole bunch there. Take your time, look at it. If you have any questions, of course, I'm here for you. Also, we can go over to thedumnews.com now. So if you want to see the daily news, a lot of people are interested in that. The site's already up to like 2,500 followers, which is huge considering we just dropped it last week or so. And then the Dumb Store obviously is coming. Then the Dumb Show, where you can get all the podcasts and the videos and everything else. It's hard sometimes to figure out all the different places that we are. That's where the club helps. But also, if you just go to thedumshow.com, it's going to help you. Plus, we got a ton of great shirts, hats, coffee, hoodies, all that type of stuff. Bubba, welcome. Good to see you. What's going on, Santana? Dottie is in the house. Dottie said hi to Maureen, but not to me. Okay, that's fine. Just kidding. Uncle Stumpy is in the house as well. Good to have him here. Got about a minute and 53 seconds before we kick off. We got a busy night. Hi, Patricia. What's up, Mike? Kentucky's in the house. So Stacy, welcome. Early bird gets the worm. That's the saying. It's been a long day. What's going on, Dale? Did anyone see the Avalanche last night? Holy God, Nathan McKinnon is the greatest player on earth. There's nobody better. But Connor McDavid, no. Not until he wins a cup, dude. McKinnon's ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous. Totally the MVP. I don't want to hear shit about Kucherov. I don't want to hear about Kucherov. It's Nate. Nate Dogg is the MVP. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Frederick. Welcome. Lady J is in the house. Thomas, welcome. Got a lot of people on. Early. Matt, just want to say thank you. Greatly appreciate the work you do. Wish I could donate, but what platform I can stream you, that would be the most helpful. Dude, whatever you can do. Just liking, sharing, making comments. Dude, don't worry about the money. The money will come. I'm not worried about that. If you can donate, great. But like I said, take care of family, your wife, husband, take care of your kids, donate to a local veteran cause, and then if you have something left over, throw me whatever you can. If you can't, no big deal. It's always going to be free. We might expand the DUM Club. Thank you, Santana, for joining next week. And we might have some content that's exclusively, but we're going to be giving away a full $50 membership monthly, free every quarter. And there's going to be people who can't afford it. We want to try to help them. We got 7 seconds, folks. We are going to launch, and we'll be right back. Welcome, Spreely TV. Nice to have all the Spreely people in the house. Let's rock and roll, everybody. Wait a second. Matt, it's Dodie, not Dottie. It's Dottie. It's always going to be Dottie. And I don't, what? When the hell did that change? It's been Dottie for 2 years. You can't do this to me, people. You can't. So it's like wait a second. Jody is Jody or Jodie. How is it not Dottie? It's Doity? Dodie? Somebody help me. This is ridiculous. No way. It's going to be Dottie. That's it. Your new name's Dottie. I don't want to hear it. Moab, Utah, welcome. Matthew Owen Spear. Oh, holy shit. You even used my middle name. Now, hold on. There's no reason to get personal here. God, Mom? Use my middle name. Holy shit. Nobody uses well, some people do. Matthew Owen Spear. It's Dodie. Holy crap. This is like when I had to call Sue Nancy. And like after 6 months, she's like, no, it's not Sue. It's Nancy. And I'm like, Nancy, what the? Sue Bolin, right? Dodie. Doe as in not a buck, but a doe. A Dodie. Holy shit, use my middle name. My God. No reason to get personal, lady.
Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news.
What's up? Denver, Colorado in the house. Colorado Avalanche. Woohoo. Go Nathan McKinnon. Holy crap, what a game last night.
Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dog.
Remember, folks, tipping is not a place in China. Tipping is allowed. We accept it. Since Facebook will not allow us to do stars, which is a ripoff anyway, you go to linktapgo.com/thedumshow. You get your name in lights. I'll say something nice about you. Unless you use all three of my names, then we have a problem. Doe, a deer, a female deer, ray, a golden drop of sun.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The Dumb Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The Dumb Show on social media or thedumbshow.com.
Adjusting transmitter output. This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Me, a name I call myself. Far, a long, long way to run. Doty, really? I don't know if I like that. I think I need to talk to your mom. We'll mix it up. What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Yes, I'm standing. I'm still standing, Elton John. 100% standing. And how we doing, man? How the hell are you? How's it going? All right, we got live. We got a big show. We got some cool stuff to cover. Holy moly. The show's getting bigger and bigger, but we're packing more into it. I would like the Denver Nuggets and Avs being champions same year. Yeah. Well, we saw it in the Broncos or in the Avs. I'd love to see the Nuggets. And respectively, not the same year, but back-to-back champs. Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup, and then Denver Nuggets won. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tall order. The West is very good this year. The West was not great for the Avs in 2022. The West was pretty weak. In fact, we just went through it like a dose of salt. So we destroyed everyone we played. Swept Nashville, lost 2 to St. Louis, swept Edmonton, lost 4 games, 16-4. What a team. This team's good. And honestly, here's the thing. If they're playing to their utmost potential right now, they're not going to win the cup. But if they're doing what I think they're doing, which is the Avs have been in the playoffs for the last 7 years, they know. They know what it takes to win the cup. And you can't lay it all on the line for first place. They knew they weren't going to win the West. The games weren't there because they had the 3 of the hardest games. Vegas Golden Knights, they had Dallas and Winnipeg, their last 3 games. And 2 of those are on a back-to-back. I think they understood, you know what, there's just not a chance. So let's sit back, let's relax, let's get healthy. And I'll tell you what, they're a good team. Georgie is my issue. He 4 goals a game. It's got to stop. Yeah, we can tape MTG's mouth shut. But remember when y'all got mad at me? Remember when y'all got mad at me when I said MTG is a frickin' rhino? And you guys like, everybody else is a rhino. You're a rhino, Matt, because you say things sometimes that aren't in complete alignment with Trump. No, that doesn't make me a rhino. It makes me a human being who has an opinion, and I disagree with Donald Trump sometimes. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to vote for him. It doesn't mean I won't defend him when he deserves to be defended, but I'm going to call him out when he deserves it. MTG just keeps bending him over the table and porking him in the keister. I told you that woman was a complete shill. She's a horrible human being. She's not a Republican. She is an opportunist. She is a piece of shite. I told you all she was a horrible person. Nobody listened to me. I told you she would backstab Trump. She did. And Lauren Boebert's no better. She's just trying to win her freaking district. That's why she's voting with them. She sat out on the McCarthy deal. Give me a break. Lauren Boebert's doing the same thing. Boebert is just trying to get reelected right now. But if she gets her seat back, she's gonna do the same thing MTG. She's not gonna show up to vote. MTG voted nay. Nay, she says. We'll talk about it. And I'll do what I always do. I told you so. I told you so. You know, folks, it's getting embarrassing. You know, we just need to have a talk. We need an intervention. Let's have an intervention. Okay? You need to start listening to me more. And I know you want to argue, and I know you want to there's got to be a time when you're like, all right, I'm not going to get into a street fight with anybody who messes with Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm just not going to do it. And if I have to fight, you know, somebody like that, I'm going to fight them from 1,000 yards away. And I'm not going to go ahead and get in a passing competition with Tom Brady. Just can't do it. And I'm not going to go ahead and get in a battle of wits with a Twain-like protege in writing. This is a humble brag. No, it's not. It's not even a brag because it's not bragging if it's true. Just when you want to argue, just be like, nope, it's okay, Matt. You're good. You good. You got it. We trust you. We trust you. We trust you because, you just don't lead us astray. And sometimes it doesn't feel good. And sometimes it's like a game called Just the Tip, just to see how it feels. And it's uncomfortable for a few minutes. But if you just give it a few minutes, you might enjoy it. When Nikki Haley comes in his administration or gets VP, what are you going to do? What? You know what? That better be a $10,000 donation night. I'm hedging my bets. I'm hedging my bets. That just better be all right. Here, here's my check. Just take it. Take my check. You've already taken my pride. Now take my check. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. What else are we talking about? Dominic Izzo drops the frickin' bar. Probably says one of the most intelligent things I have heard from any talking head in my life. That good. And I love Jordan Peterson. I am a huge fan of Peterson. I am a huge fan of Tennyson and Thoreau and Mark Twain. I'm a huge Shapiro fan. I'm a huge Crowder fan. I've listened to Alex Jones, and although he's not my favorite, he says some things that are quite interesting sometimes. There's a lot of people who I really admire. I Neil Tyson deGrasse, even though I don't like his politics, I love his mind. I loved Carl Sagan. Cosmos was one of the best things ever written. Like Walt Whitman, Uncle Walt. And I'll tell you, this thing that Dominic Izzo said, hands down, is probably one of my favorite things I've ever seen. Yeah. And heard. We're going to play that tonight. Got that for you. Coming in hot. I like Mark Levin. Mark Levin copied me, but I like Mark Levin. No, he didn't copy me. But Mark Levin was all about the stolen election for the first 3 months. Stolen election this, stolen election that. It was Dominion servers. It was Buenos Aires Nazis working with George Soros. It was the Nashville Pac Bell Center, which had all the server information. Oh, it was bursted water pipes. Oh, it was ballot harvesting. Oh, it was Dinesh D'Souza with 2,000 mules. He's got a movie coming out. And then Fox News says, dude, you got to shut up or we're going to fire you. And Mark Levin's like, okay. And I guarantee Mark looked around and there was only one show, and everyone will tell you this. Everybody here is right here. They're all right here. Everybody. There are people in here who've been watching me since the beginning. I was the only person, the only conservative. There wasn't one conservative voice that was saying that it's not that it was stolen. It was unconstitutional. It was all mail-in ballots. They went and changed it in the courts. They told us this was going to happen. They told us they were counting the mail-in ballots, that we were going to wake up in the morning and everything was going to change and they were going to be counted last. They told us everything that they were going to do. The U.S. Post Office asked for how many millions of dollars? 900 million some odd dollars, almost $1 billion to hire more postal workers because of the influx of mail-in ballots. They said they were going to send in mail-in ballots. They said they were going to go ahead and change it to emergency powers and send it to last known addresses or previous registration and move orders and saturate places with mail-in ballots to make sure, because nobody could go to the DMV and register. Nobody could go to the local high school and register because nobody could leave their home because of COVID. And they said, well, that's not fair. So instead of going ahead and missing millions of people, giving them a chance to vote because we are in a lockdown and the whole world is going nuts, let's go ahead and just send mail-in ballots out there to everybody. Because if I'm wrong, then there won't be 30 million less voters this year. And you know damn well there will be, because I've been telling you so. And we've already established tonight that you're just not going to disagree with me anymore. Is that family?
Me.
Thanks. Hey, announce your presence. Go. What?
Can I go to Jack's school to celebrate his birthday with him?
Yeah. Go have fun.
What time should I-
Where's your mom?
She
Spit it out, son. I'm live.
practice got out at 7, so she's gonna be back home at 7:30.
So why are you here and she's not?
Coach dropped me off.
Okay, go. Get changed.
Yes.
Hang up your clothes. Don't leave a mess. You know what the rules are. You do that, guess what happens?
Gone. Baseball. No more.
Get going. How'd you do? Did you get hit?
Yes.
Hurry up.
I won in knockout.
You won knockout again? Yeah. You're going to crush tomorrow. Dude, I want the cycle. I want a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. Yes. No excuses. Don't fail. All right. They can't do it again because there's provisions against it. Unless there is a COVID again, unless there's a lockdown again, they can't do that without every American knowing. But the problem is that we're talking about the wrong things. We're talking about stolen this and stolen that. And what we should be talking about is ensuring that every American is bringing 10 people to the polls. You have to bring every one of your friends to the polls. And we're going to talk about that tonight, Donald Trump. And we're going to talk about what he did today to Chick-Fil-A. And I believe that that should be his campaign. Remember, I'm the one that told you, address abortion. And everyone's like, oh, no, Matt, we can't compromise abortion. Well, Donald Trump's doing it. You notice how nobody's saying shit now? Nobody's sitting here and going, oh, Matt, I can't believe you're flip-flopping on abortion. No, I've always been open. I said Donald Trump needs to address abortion. They need to get a Republican platform. He needs to take the lead on this and lead the country. Well, what did he do? Geez, I wonder. Once again, more truth coming out of the Don't Unfriend Me show. Tonight's a humble brag night. It's just going to be all night. The role of undecided voters in 2024. This is going to decide the election. I don't give a crap about black and Hispanic and people who pee sitting up and sitting down and Muslims and Jews. I don't give a shit about any of that. It's going to be undecided voters. Hands down, end of story. Just like every year, that's 7% of the electorate that goes, I don't know who I'm going to vote for. And those people actually mean it. Those idiots actually mean it. Hey, E. Hold on, folks. I got to fix my window. Sorry. I have darkening curtains and yeah. Let's see what else. Tucker Carlson. We saw it with Candace Owens. Saw it with Jake Shields. We saw it last night with the Hodge twins. Tucker's joining the anti-Israel trope. He's got to cash in on those dollars. Jew hating pays, man. It pays. I've been seeing it pay. I've been watching it pay. And I'll tell you what, man. Real simple. I haven't been able to grow on Twitter. I've got like 5,200 followers. It's been that way. I only had 97 for over 2 years because I was throttled by those jackasses over in Twitter. Now I'm stuck at 5,200. I guess all I got to do is start hating Jews. Then I'll grow. There's a guy who's been on there for 97 days. He's got 2.2 million followers. And all he does is hate Jews. That's all he talks is shit about Jews all day long. That's all he does. It's insane, folks. Insane to the membrane. But everybody, it's like it's a new fashion trend. It's like the Harlem Shake or planking or the ALS challenge or changing your profile pic to the Eiffel Tower. It's just in to hate Jews. Joseph Hillstrom asked a great question. Matt, your prediction for the October surprise. Who gives a shit? There's nothing they can do. They've already done it all. When you've called a man Adolf Hitler, when you called a man the destroyer of democracy, a homophobe, a transphobe, a racist, an anti-Semite, they've called him now. They say now because he made a comment says, if you're Jewish and you don't vote for me, then you're crazy. But Joe Biden says something that's 10 times worse and nobody cares. Someone explain that to me. You guys remember the greatest hits of Joe Biden? And if you know what he said, you know the things that he said. How about this one?
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
What the shit? He didn't say you either vote for me and you ain't a Jew. He just said, how can Jewish people vote for Democrats? I've got the same question. How the fuck can Democrats vote for how can Jews vote for Democrats? Yeah, I'm asking the same question. But the other question I got, how the hell can Jews vote for Republicans right now? Because there is an element of complete hatred for Jews and the right is coming out with this. And this is all led by the Nick Fuentes. I told you, man, the moment this war started, I said, people are going to tell you who they are, believe them. You're going to see the worst sides of people, and it's going to be open season on Jews. This happens all the time. It happened during COVID. Jews are always the ones to blame. That's what everyone does. Let's hate the Jews. Let's talk about the Rothschilds. Let's talk about a U.S. vessel that was blown up. Let's talk about how they didn't help us in the Gulf War. Holy crap. I told you the moment that Israel was attacked, I said, you're going to see something from Israel. They're going to take it off the chain. And they're going to, civilian, man, woman, and child, who cares? They don't care. The Jews don't care about that shit. They can't. They literally have a little tiny place like New Jersey surrounded in every direction, 2,000 miles of Arab country. I don't agree with the killing of civilians, but this is war. This is what happens in war. This is why we don't want war. This is why war is ugly. This is why we don't want any more wars. This is why Donald Trump didn't start any wars. Because it's horrible. And those of us who've been to war know that it's horrific. And the toll that's paid isn't by the politicians. It isn't by the Israeli government. It's by the soldiers, the airmen, the Coast Guardsmen, the Air Force veterans, the airmen, Marine Corps, the soldier, the sailor. They pay the price. They take it home with them. They pay the checks, not the government. War it's shit. And if you think that any country that's been attacked provides aid to the enemy, food, water, shelter, a stay of execution, warning for 30 days before executing their drill, escape plans and directions of what areas are going to be hit first so Hamas can dig into those hospitals or exfil to a different part of the country, you're insane. Did we do humanitarian drops in Iraq? Give me a... Did we give food to the Republican Guard? Did we like, oh, okay, let's go to the Kurds and the Sunnis and the Shias and let's give them some food. Give me a break. We said we were there on a humanitarian mission. Sure, after we killed fucking 300,000 people. War is hell. It's not a Hallmark card. It's not designed to be a Hallmark card. It's deadly. It's horrible. It is life. It is what we do. It is what humans have done since the dawn of time, and it's not going to change now. And for you to sit here and tell another country how they should execute their strategy to protect the sovereignty of their country, well, then I have a couple questions. Because Ukrainians are killing Russians too, you know. Don't pretend that in the Donbass region that Russian citizens weren't killed. I don't condone what Russia's doing. I'm not Tucker Carlson. I'm not going to go into I've been to a Russian grocery store. I've been to that fucking country. I've been to that country many times. I'd take a pair of Levi's in there and I'd eat good for a week. I know what's there. I'm not going to pretend that it's great because it's not. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that Ukraine is all peaceful and shit and they're just being taken advantage of, they're the ones that put a drone in the Kremlin. That's pretty serious. They're the one who lied about about Snake Island, Skull Island, whatever that island's called. They're the one that has the Azov battalion in Donbass. They're the ones with the corruption issues. Come on. Stop pretending that Ukraine is like, oh, they're the Barbara Streisand of politics and war. They're just always the victim. Give me a break. Ukraine is executing its mission as the same as Israel. It's just the roles are reversed. It would be like if Ukraine attacked Russia. Russia would obliterate Ukraine. You think Russia hasn't shown some restraint? I mean, listen. Russia invaded Ukraine, 100%. Russia is in the wrong, 100%. There's no but to that. That's a full stop. Now, let's pretend that you actually think that Russia hasn't shown restraint and they couldn't literally flatten Kyiv without nuclear warheads. Yes, they could. They've got a Moab that's 0.5 bigger than ours. They could decimate frickin' Kyiv in a night. They could flatten that whole city. They could kill everyone within 10 square miles of Kyiv. Give me a break. Israel can do the same to Gaza. They're not. They could be carpet bombing that son of a bitch all day long. They could be sending in columns of tanks in there. They could be sending in battalions of people. They could be doing sweep and clears. They could be detonating buildings with frickin' target acquisition and laser targeting from drones. Give me a break. Israel takes 25% of our money and develops their own weapon systems. They've got it all. If Israel wanted to destroy Gaza in a New York minute, they would. And let's not forget, the Jews were attacked. And how are we going to sit here and pretend why we invaded Iraq and went into Afghanistan and didn't go into Saudi Arabia when most of the hijackers were Saudi Arabians and funded by the dollars coming from Saudi Arabia, yet and the money funneled to OBL came from Saudi Arabia, came from his bank accounts in Saudi Arabia. And we're going to sit here and pretend. Come on. Come on. We went into Afghanistan and Iraq. Why? Why? You know why. So let's stop pretending that we are this great white knight. We do horrendous things. Every country has done horrendous things. Hell, we are standing on the bones of Native Americans. And yes, when we came over here, we're like, let's have peace. You've got arrows. We've got guns. Let's have peace. We could obliterate you. But that's not what happened. And that's not even the story. You're talking about two different times, Plymouth Rock and Christopher Columbus. We brought disease. The Europeans brought disease. They had already faced typhoid, yellow fever. They had already been through the plagues. They've already been through influenza. The American Indians, the Native Americans did not and were not exposed to these things. And yes, they came over and then they started wiping out Native Americans with disease. And I know about the Indian blankets. I know they put yellow fever on gifts so they would kill the rest of them. I'm aware. But 91% of the Native Americans were obliterated before we even picked up rifle and fired. Most of the young men died. They were infertile. They were impotent because of the fevers and the typhoid. The Native American population was dead. They were going to be gone. The United States just moved it forward. Am I proud of that? No. But this is war. This is what happens. Every country in the world is conquered. Yes, Russia was in Afghanistan. It was their Vietnam. It was their Vietnam. 100%. Matt, I'm afraid that if American people don't wake up, we will become a third world country. Listen. No, Larry, don't worry about it. Come on, man. Everything's good. Everything's good. Listen to me. We got a show to do, but the interest for the global community is to ensure that the United States survives, okay? The amount of money that Saudi Arabia, that China, that Russia, that Japan, that every country has in the United States, with just the amount of debt that we owe them, United States is important. The United States literally is so tied into the world economy. And with our ability and with our military, our technology, our innovation, we're important to too many countries to fail. Countries have to support us. But if you believe that there's not an axis of evil, which I would not call it an axis of evil. I don't consider Russia, China, and Iran and South Africa to be the axis of evil, okay? When they start wiping out 11 million people, then we can have a conversation. But can I call them the access of ill intent? Yes. And should we ensure that we're in Africa and our interests in Africa are 100% secure? That our military bases on the west side of Africa are stronger than the military bases of Russia, China, Iran, and South Africa. On the east side of Africa, most assuredly. We need to develop the western side of Africa like Moeki Tik. If you don't know what that is, look up your Korean. Moeki Tik, folks. Might be Vietnamese. Nope, Korean. So now, because over the next 20 years, the next major war will be fought over Africa. This will be like Tanzania. This will be World War II. This will be the Battle of Gallipoli and Libya all over again. Because Africa has one thing. They've got a whole bunch of sand. They got a whole bunch of starving people, but they are rich in minerals beyond belief. And what they have in Africa will supply us with our electronic vehicles, the things that we're going to need to sustain energy dominance. It's also a strategic point. When you looked at one of the most undeveloped countries in the world and continents besides Antarctica, according to some, because some people think we have an entire populace there, there's an ice wall, and there's a whole other country. Give me a break. Shut up. But Africa is it. Australia is second. Asia is no longer an undeveloped country. Russia is no longer underdeveloped. Africa is empty, spatial land, high in minerals, high in resources. And I'm telling you this, if you believe that the global shift of 3 degrees doesn't take place and the wobbling of the earth isn't changing the trajectory of weather in this country, it is. Because if you look at the East Coast, it used to be the parallel running across the United States from Colorado, all would have the same weather. From the high Sierras in Nevada to Northern California to Colorado, Denver, all the way to Virginia and Ashburn, along that line, would have the exact same weather patterns. We don't have that anymore. Virginia is getting less severe weather. It's getting hotter. Northern California is no longer seeing the major snow that it used to. You have a 3-degree shift in the poles. You have a wobble in the planet. This is where you get change, and from temperate zones might become a little warmer, or temperate zones might become a little colder. And if we believe that there are properties and there are areas inside the world that are affected by this, we'll have better weather. We'll have more rain, more moisture, higher and denser vegetation, which means property that will be valuable in the future. It's not like this hasn't happened before, because all you got to do is look at the Ice Age. All you got to do is look at the poles, and it's changing. We were in an Ice Age. The Ice Age is over, and it's melting, and it's going to melt no matter what we do. But at some point, all that water that was here that covered this earth at one point is going to have to melt. And it's going to change the bodies of land that we have on earth. Of course, you will see places like Florida. You will see like the Maldives and other places that won't be here anymore. And there was a time where they weren't. We talked about this morning. Go drive through I-70 in Colorado and look at the rock along the side. The color red is what Colorado means, and that's because it's the beautiful rock, the Badlands of Utah, the Badlands of Arizona and Colorado. When you're driving through I-70, all of that rock has fossils, have seabed creatures in it, mollusks in it. It was all underwater at one point. The world's going to change, and that is something we need to understand. And at some point, we have to realize that places like Africa or the middle of the country will become richer, more powerful. Why do you think everyone's buying up Midland? Why do you think everyone's buying up country in the Rust Belt? Why do you think Bill Gates is buying property like nothing? Because the new Los Angeles, if this is true, in the next 50, 60, 100, 200 years, 1,000 years, Whoever owns land will rule the world. There's an old adage, when there's blood in the streets, buy property. Folks, this isn't a secret. That water will melt. And when it does, the way our coastal map will look so much different than it does today. So instead of seeing people buy property in California and Florida and New York, they're buying property in Midlands, in the middle of America. A lot of people think it's because of food. You think Bill Gates wants to go ahead and get into agriculture? Are you kidding me? There's no profit in that. It's the land. Tell me the people in Montana who held land 25 years ago. That is some of the most expensive land in the fucking world now. You couldn't give it away 25 years ago. You couldn't give away 1,000 acres in Montana. You could probably get 1,000 acres for less than $1 million in Montana 25 years ago. Now, you can't even get a quarter acre for that. Unless it's got a home on it. Go look at Montana. What's Kansas going to be? What's Iowa going to be? Things change, folks. And if we're going to sit here and constantly worry about things and say, oh my God, what ifs, let's focus on the now. Colorado used to be cheap. My parents went in and they bought a 3-story cabin in Pine, Colorado with 3 acres, full wooden A-frame cabin, 4,000 square feet, $97,000. That fucking place is going for $1.1 million now. $1.1 million. Yeah, I'm not a Bill Gates fan either. But the interesting thing is he's divesting his valuation. He's divesting his kingdom. He's giving it away. But he doesn't need that because money isn't going to mean anything. It's going to be property. It's going to be who has antibiotics. It's going to be who has gold. It's going to get, listen, if you are in a situation where a cataclysmic event takes place, whether that means a nuke goes off or we all of a sudden Yosemite blows up, which, folks, we're due. The entire West Coast is due for an earthquake of such magnitude that's terrifying. They haven't had a big one since Northridge. And that was 20 years ago, 21 years ago. The East Coast hasn't had a big one, and we're seeing tectonic plate shift here in the East Coast. When Yosemite goes, we're in deep shit. North America's gone. The cloud that will dissipate the sun from that, there ain't no science experiment that's going to do more damage than that. The super volcano in Yosemite that's it. Everyone's worried about asteroids and global warming. No, if that thing goes off, we're all in a world of hurt. Everybody is in a world of hurt. The amount of sulfur, the amount of dense charcoal, the amount of clouds of acidic rain that will come from that, the amount of crops that will die, animals, no sun, bees will no longer have their homing device and sense of direction, which we're already screwing up with cell phones and dishes and everything else. We're seeing the bee population dwindle. And that has an effect. Some people think that's an extinction level event, is when bees stop pollinating. There's other animals that pollinate, other insects. Give me a break. The wind pollinates, but it will have an impact on yield, of course. There's so many things to worry about. How about we worry about the things we can change? Kevin goes, not my house. We went ahead and painted my roof blue. That's great. It's funny. So anyway, so now that we've went off on a wide range of topics, and we're talking about the end of the earth, end of times, and the moral efficacy of Israel and all this other crap, let's just focus on the things we can really focus on, okay? Let's focus on the things we can control. And what can we control? What can we control? You can control donating to thedumbshow.com. See, you got to get a commercial in. Linktabgo.com/The Dumb Show. It's right up here in the right-hand corner, folks. It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. It's not there for color. This provides this conversation. This is my living. This is what I do. I used to run as a VP for a company, and I don't work there anymore. I'm doing this full time. So this pays for the roof. This pays for the bills. It pays for the car payment. It puts up for the lights, the broadband, the clothes, all of it. So if you're in a position to help out and you like the show and you've been watching it for years, now you can donate. I've never asked for donations before. We haven't been in this position before. You know, when I'm making $175,000 a year for a company and I can do this on nights, this is easy. It ain't easy anymore. So if you can donate, do it. But first, take care of your family, take care of your kids, take care of your home. Make sure all that's right. Get your bills paid. Take care of those things. If you have some extra scratch, instead of buying a coffee tomorrow, instead of buying a coffee next week, maybe you don't buy coffee for a month and you just go and do some ground stuff and go buy some coffee on my site. Try donating to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. All right? Great. Love you. Let's get to it. Marjorie Taylor frickin' Greene. Oh, I told you. I told you this woman. I don't know what else I can say. I really don't have anything else to say other than this woman 100% is a shill. There was a bill that came up, and it was the extension of FISA. Everyone knows what FISA is? Is there anybody who doesn't know what FISA is? Let me know. Essentially, that allows the United States government and the intelligence agencies to get a warrantless search, warrantless wiretaps, warrantless all of it in order to go ahead and spy on Americans who they feel are doing nefarious things to the U.S. I want to show you a quick thing. Hillary Clinton. I just got a video of Hillary. And she is... Oops. I don't know why that did it. She's appropriating Japanese culture, folks. Look at this.
Great, especially for this.
Appropriating Japanese culture. Hillary Clinton's son. Huh. Now, nobody talking any shit because you don't want to wake up and landing on some bullets tomorrow. But Hillary Clinton appropriating Japanese culture. I just saw it on Twitter. It's great. Look at that. I'm surprised he's not wearing Shogun leather boiled armor. Bill Clinton. These fucking people. The Clintons. Oh, they drive me crazy. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everyone keeps saying, oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's amazing. She's not a rhino. She's a hero. She's such a hero. She's amazing. She's the greatest Republican ever. No, she's not. Liz Cheney has a better voting record than this hooker. Yes, I'm calling her a hooker at this point. I'm done. I don't care what this lady says. She's a shill. She didn't vote out Kevin McCarthy. She took PAC money from Kevin McCarthy. Her entire reelection campaign, she took thousands of dollars from Kevin McCarthy. She voted with him. Her and Lauren Boebert didn't even show up. She didn't split the vote. She didn't stand with the Freedom Caucus. She didn't do any such thing. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene talking out of both sides of her mouth, and then I'm going to show you what she did today. And you tell me if this woman is still someone you admire, okay? You just let me know. Because I think you should go to Twitter and go to MTG, whatever her, and say MTG sucks balls. Sucks balls. This lady is a complete piece of shite. She has sold out more conservative principles than anyone else that I know of. And she sits here and lies to you. Listen to these lies. It's right here, okay? And before you go ahead and say, Matt, come on, don't be this way. Don't be this way. Don't turn on the Republicans. We can't have infighting. Bullshit, we can't. We need it. We need to call these people out because here's the people who voted for it. Biggs, Bishop, they voted nay. They voted no, which is to limit the amount of warrantless FISA breaches of privacy and security. Folks, we got 225 people on. We got 89 likes. I need you to get out there and like. This becomes like turning the lights off in your house. Mom and dad would be like, come on, turn the lights off. We can't afford the electricity. Here I am. Hey, guys, get out there and like something because I can't afford to pay the electric bill. You got to like the show. The only way it grows is if you like it. And it's not hitting the like button right now inside the live. It's outside the live. Right before you come in, bam, like that thing, pound it. If you leave, like it, pound it. If you forget to do it, come back and do it later. Like, share, subscribe. There's a reason. But these are the people who voted nay. Biggs, Bishop, Boobert. She actually showed up. Burchett, Cloud, Eli Crane, my boy. The non-sellout of the group, Eli Crane, United States Navy SEAL, 1st District, Arizona, said nope. Gates, Good, Gossar, Higgins, Luna, Mace, Miley, Norman, Perry, Rosendale, Roy, Stube, E. Where's Mike Johnson? Where's Jimmy Jordan? Now, do I believe that the Freedom Caucus is all that? No, I think the Freedom Caucus is a bunch of obnoxious little turds. And even Eli can be obnoxious sometimes. But I'll tell you what, they're on the right side of these things. But they have got to figure out how to communicate and stop helping the Democrats. Because the rest of the Republicans are in line with the Democrats, and it makes our party look ineffectual and weak. We've got to start having conversations. We've got to elect leaders that are actually going to get things done. I'm telling you right now, this is a party that's not divided or not together. We are absolutely divided. They don't know who they don't know if they want Trump. They don't know if they want Johnson. But this is what Marjorie Taylor Greene, so let's focus on her. Let's focus on MTG, this classy lady who believes in Jewish space lasers. Yes, this lady. This fucking genius. Yes, I'm upset. Yes, I'm cussing tonight. Olivia's mom, I'm sorry. I know you watched the live show and you put so much faith in me to watch this live show. And I cuss, and I'm sorry. I apologize. But she's a fucking idiot. Jewish space lasers. Okay. All right, space lasers. Let's see what you got, Bigfoot. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
For this yesterday, I sent a letter out to my colleagues yesterday morning. The current discussions in our conference meeting this morning is about FISA, but it's pretty clear and obvious and being whispered among the conference. Mike Johnson does not have the support of the conference. The letter that I sent has been well received, and it was basically speaking the quiet part out loud. He's in there urging members to reauthorize FISA. And I don't think he has the votes for it right now, is what I'm gathering. We're going to be working on this. We do not believe in warrantless spying on the American people, especially when this bill carves out the ability.
We don't believe in warrantless spying on the American people. I want to make sure you understand what a yes vote means. A yes vote means you are for warrantless spying on American people, and a no vote means you aren't supportive. Everyone understand? Are we sure we got it? Good.
For Congress to be notified when a member of Congress is going to be looked at through the FISA court, that's completely unfair. The same thing should apply for the American people. But Mike Johnson doesn't have the trust of the conference, and that's become very clear.
Are you going to vote against the rule today for the FISA?
Listen. Are you going to vote against the rule, which means vote nay? Nay. Are you going to vote nay?
I haven't openly decided to do that. There's a briefing, a classified briefing at 2 o'clock. And then there's also...
If I'm not mistaken, the vote's at 1:30, you stupid ass. I thought the vote was at 1:30. What is a briefing at 2 o'clock going to do for you? Are you going to go jump in your time machine and go back in time? Why don't you go back and do a retroactive abortion for Hitler while you're at it and Lee Harvey Oswald? You can save us all a lot of time. What is a briefing at 1:30 going to do for you, MTG? Watch this. Watch this genius at work. Yeah, let's see. I pray to God this news person knows anything about this. They all get a run of day. They all know when the briefings are. They all know they have a schedule. It's all released to the press pool. Did one of them check it? Did they look? If I know it, could they possibly know it? Let's find out. I know.
Briefing at 3 o'clock by Judith.
Oh, you got one at 2:30 and 3 o'clock. 2 and 3 o'clock, you got a briefing. Did the press do their job? Did the press do their job? Did the press do their job? Let's find
The
out.
rule vote's at 1:30 though.
Yes.
Oh, somebody did their job. Holy shit. Look at her. Yes, but we're going to have other conversations. You're such a politician, lady. You're such a, piece of crap.
Briefing at 3 o'clock by judiciary.
The rule vote's at 1:30 though.
Yes. There's still a lot of conversation
Yes, but you're fat. So shut up.
going on.
Are you considering voting against it?
Of course, I'm considering going against it.
You just said that you are for not spying on Americans. So that means you are now for spying on Americans. How this lady is in office just baffles me. Dumb as dog shit. God, I hope you know what, MTG, I hope you see this. I hope you see this small time podcast. I hope like maybe Eli plays it, or somebody else, maybe one of the Luttrell plays it. Maybe somebody, and you see it. And I will say, you are the dumbest fucking person I've ever met, and you should resign and go on The View. You will fit in like a glove. You should be on The View and be paid millions for your idiocy. You will actually lower the IQ of that table, if that's even possible. You'll go into atomizer quotient. We'll have to get on the algebraic calculator to identify how much in the red you are going to make that table. Marjorie Taylor Greene is an idiot. And she is absolutely a fucking shill. And I've been telling you this for years. And the fact that Looney Loomer and I are on the same page, just absolutely, I hate it. This lady needs to disappear so I can go back to disagreeing with everything Looney Loomer says. But Loomer has been calling her out longer than I have. Sorry I yelled. I'm not yelling. I'm just emphatic. No, Mike. We're not talking about the rest of Congress. We're talking about MTG. We're talking about the person who sits in front of Trump and says how great Donald Trump is. Sitting in front of Trump and said, Trump just released a tweet that said we should go ahead and block FISA and use that for votes. How she's used Donald Trump for fundraising, but never stands by him during the most important times. When Kevin McCarthy was going to be ousted, she stood with Kevin McCarthy and went against Trump. I can't tell you. Go look at her voting record. No. We're not talking about the rest of Congress. We're talking about MTG. Don't deflect. Don't distract. Don't change the subject. Focus on one of these pricks at a time. We're not talking about the rest of Congress. We're talking about her, Miss MAGA. Miss at the State of the Union, man. You guys want to talk about controlled opposition? You guys call me controlled opposition sometimes. That's controlled opposition. Right fucking there. The lady who wears MAGA buttons stands up and interrupts and makes the Republicans look like pieces of shit. And you guys are like, oh, she cares about Laken Riley. She hasn't said dick about Laken Riley since she did it. How much money did she fundraise? How much money out of her campaign did she give Laken Riley's family? Give me a break. She doesn't give two tits about her. She is, if anyone is controlled opposition, that's what it looks like. Somebody who says one thing and does another. No, I don't care, Mike. Mike, we can't focus on the entire burrito. Let's pick out each thing of rice, each bean, each piece of steak, each pico, and set it on the table and see what we get. I'm not focused on everybody because I already do that. I'm focused on her because MAGA thinks that she is a female Trump. And what she is a female Kevin McCarthy. She's a female Lindsey Graham. She's a Paul Ryan. She's a Mitch McConnell. That is the deep state, her. And she's selling you that she isn't. I don't give a fuck if you're standing up for her or not. Don't care. You can stand up for her. You're wrong because I'm showing you right here how she's absolutely going against her word. Listen to the rest.
I think it's fair for the FBI to be able to spy on the American people. And what's set up here, the explanation that we've been given.
Sarah, do me a favor. Don't say retard, okay? That's like people making fun of autism. Not cool with me. It's not okay. Please don't say retard. We have so many other words. I'm ripping her apart, and I'm not calling her a see you next Tuesday or the B word or anything else. I'm calling her stupid because she is, okay? Let's not say the word retard. It's just not appropriate. Just like when the Hodge twins were saying Jew. It's not that you said Jew, it's the way you said it. And there's a very big difference between Jews and Jew. See what I'm saying? Let's not do that.
Is all of the
No, I didn't forget Mitt Romney because I've done Captain Underpants. We're doing MTG. MTG. Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're not doing Romney. We're not doing Graham. We're not doing Paul Ryan. We're not doing McConnell. We're not doing Nadler. We're not doing Schiff. We're not doing Pelosi. We're doing MTG tonight because she's in my crosshairs. I've already done all those people. We're doing her.
Laid out and penalties.
No, I won't chill out. No, Maggie, I won't chill out. I will not move on. You move on. It's not the show for you. This isn't the place. Go cut your teeth on some other shows and come back. You're going to get the truth here. Will not chill the fuck out. Will not do it. Sorry.
On the American people, except the same thing. It's like asking the deep state to hold itself accountable. The FBI has abused the American people's trust. The DOJ has abused the American people's trust. So this doesn't give me confidence that it will stop it.
Have you talked to President Trump about your motion to vacate effort?
Yes, I've spoken with President Trump. I don't speak for President Trump. I don't talk about what the private details of our conversation. And as you can see from his post last night about what he thinks about FISA, he always makes his opinions open and clear.
He always makes his opinions open and clear. So Marjorie Taylor Greene just told you that the FISA bill spies on Americans. It allows the things that happened to Donald Trump, the wiretaps, planting FBI on his campaign, the Steele dossier, all based on FISA warrants. These are secret courts that don't use the normal judicial system. They use a warrantless search. They use warrantless appropriations. They warrantlessly spy on Americans without going through normal judges. These are the things that they used against J6ers. These are the things that they use against people like me who speak out against this stuff. No, I will not chill out. Yes, I am okay. If you have not seen me like this, you haven't watched my show long enough. It's called passion. It's called being frustrated. It's called not allowing us to distract and deflect into something else. We're not doing that. We're talking about her tonight. And if you're going to tell me that you like the Patriot Act, if you're going to tell me that you like FISA warrants, if you're going to tell me that you're okay with what they've done to Donald Trump, this lady, Marjorie Taylor Greene, has espoused that she is a Trump supporter, that she is MAGA through and through, that she is loyal to Donald Trump, that she talks to Donald Trump, and that she will go ahead and do whatever she can for Donald Trump to get reelected. Then why didn't you listen to him? Why aren't you doing what he asked? Donald Trump specifically asked for them to take FISA down.
For this yesterday, I sent a
specifically. Kill FISA. It was illegally used against me and many others. They spied on my campaign. Donald J. Trump. So explain to me. Help me understand. Help me understand while you see something like this and you're not outraged. How can anyone defend Marjorie Taylor Greene ever again? I'm just asking a question here. And this isn't like the Ben Shapiro asking questions because I already have an answer. I'm asking you. Defend it. How are you okay with Marjorie Taylor Greene sitting here and saying that this bill spies on Americans and then voting for it? Because if you think we should move on, I have a question for you. What is more important than this? What is more important than complaining about the deep state? What is more important than complaining that there's a shadow government that's trying to take out Donald Trump? What is more important than the tools that are being used against Donald Trump and Americans who speak out against this stuff? What's more important? What do you want to talk about? The eclipse? You want to talk about 3.5% inflation? Well, why don't we just wait until it's 5% next month? Okay? You want to talk about gas prices? Why don't we wait for that? Why don't we talk about something important? Why don't we talk about someone in our ranks, one of the most prestigious figures in the MAGA movement, who says they are MAGA through and through, that they are Make America Great Again, that they are a Donald Trump supporter who has taken millions in contributions from Donald Trump and his coattails, who has stood next to him for campaign photos, who wore his buttons and his hat during the State of the Union, who screams out during the SOTU and makes Republicans look like idiots, who doesn't vote along Donald Trump, doesn't help Donald Trump, votes for Kevin McCarthy. Help me understand. Didn't stand with the Freedom Caucus when the 21 stood up against McCarthy and tried to oust him, would not support him as speaker, and stood up and we did what? 9 roll calls? Marjorie Taylor Greene voted with Kevin McCarthy each time. She stood next to him. She also took hundreds of thousands of dollars to her campaign from him. So did Boebert. And the only reason Boebert's on here who voted no is because she's in a re-election year. So what's more important? How much money did she get this time? Donald Trump says, kill FISA. It was illegally used against me and many others. They spied on my campaign, Donald J. Trump. Look at the vote. It's right here for you. You want me to move on? I don't think there's anything to move on that's more important than this. And I've got some good stuff for the rest of tonight. There's nothing more important than this right now. Do you know how much crap I took for speaking out against Marjorie Taylor Greene over the last 2 years? And I told so many people what she was doing. And everybody was like, no, she's MAGA. She represents us. She's one of the good ones. She's against the deep state. Folks, she is the deep state. She is a wolf in sheep's clothing. She says one thing and she votes another. And I just think you should know about it. And if you don't like my delivery, I don't care. Because you should be just as pissed. You should be just as bent out of shape. You really should. Because it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. But you know what will happen? People will make excuses. People say, well, what about this person? What about this person? What about this person? They're all corrupt. You know what? Of course they are. But that doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about her. We're talking about what she did. Now we'll shift gears. Donald J. Trump visited Chic-Fil-A. I believe it was Georgia. No, yeah, it was in Atlanta. And he ordered 30 milkshakes. That's a lot of money. Those Chick-fil-A shakes are expensive. They're like $4 or $5, aren't they? They're expensive. Someone look up how much a Chick-fil-A shake is. I don't get that stuff. I don't eat that stuff. I got to watch my girlish figure. But ordered 30 shakes. And it was a predominantly black restaurant. And that shouldn't matter, but it does. It's the middle of Atlanta, Georgia. It ultimately cost him the election in 2020. It was one of the states that absolutely decided the election with Georgia. And to see him go in here and watch this reaction is awesome. Go ahead and take a listen. Watch this.
Can I have 30 milkshakes? And also some chicken. I wanted to take care of the customers. Is business good? You making a lot of money? You're getting rich, right? Thanks very much. Look at the way you hold. You like each other, right?
Wow. That guy sure is a threat to our democracy. Look at him talk to the people. Oh, traitor. Oh, he's such a threat to our democracy. He's such a Hitler. Yeah, watch this. You want to see something great? See if I can find this video. Where's the good one? I say, oh, here it is. Watch this. This is just priceless.
Sure did. Much better than Biden.
Well, we took care of those colleges.
Sure did. Much better than Biden did. So I was this is Clark Atlanta. This is Spelman. This is Morehouse. This is Morris Brown. They all came.
Isn't that great?
So I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you.
We love you.
Okay, 4 p.m. We've been 4 p.m.
Come here, let me give you a hug.
Please
Well, we took care of those colleges.
What a racist. What a racist. Seriously, do you see how he strangled that black lady? Like he did that Secret Service agents in his limo? Oh, horrible. Horrible. What a bigot. There's two things that I said in 2020 that Donald Trump needs to do to be successful. Be Donald Trump, but learn to shut up. This is 2016 Trump. This guy's going to Bill Clinton this mofo, and you watch. Donald Trump should visit every Chick-Fil-A across the country and go in and shake hands with the black population because they're friendly with him there. It's a conservative company. And they may not love Trump, but at least they have an open mind. They don't hate Trump. You'll find that at McDonald's. You'll find that at Burger King. You'll find that at Taco Bell. You're not going to find that at Chick-fil-A because they usually hire people who are open to conservative values because they share the same values, black, white, or indifferent. That racist just did more for black people than Joe Biden did. What? Joe Biden had dinner with a black family and set up a photo shoot? This guy went in and ate the food there. Had unilateral support from the entire restaurant, gained more PR, and I would make a commercial out of this and say, Black America doesn't hate Donald Trump. Black America is sick and tired of the Democrat playbook, which is to do the following, which is to keep black people in the inner city, to do what LBJ said and to give those N-words just a little taste of government and freedom and get them on the hook. And those N-words will never vote anyone but Democrat again. The Great Society. Lyndon Baines Johnson, Democrat. Completely antithetical to what Kennedy wanted. Kennedy wanted civil rights. LBJ didn't. He single-handedly delivered Vietnam to the U.S. government and had a secret plan to ensure that he kept African Americans throttled in the inner cities and created voting farms and modern-day slave plantations with African American youth. By exuberant amounts of persecution and prosecution on sentencing, by introducing drugs into these neighborhoods. Crack cocaine is a black drug, not by choice, but because it was the drug that was fed to the African-American communities in these inner cities. The disproportionate amount of income inequality, the nowhere jobs for black youth, The schools that ultimately fail and are overridden with crime and drugs and teachers who don't give a crap and are only collecting a paycheck and don't want to get raped or shot going to the parking lot. Opportunity zones. This is modern day eugenics. Feed them lines about having children, fatherless is okay, that family values aren't important, that the government will take care of you the more children you have. Because the more children you have ultimately means the more voters you have. And the more children you have will keep up with the rampant death and murder taking place in these areas. And we will continue to have our voting farms repopulated. Is anyone truly not picking up what I'm putting down? Does anyone think that I'm just off the rails here? Because if you don't believe what I'm saying, simply look through history. Who was responsible for the Ku Klux Klan? Who was responsible for revision history with the Daughters of the Confederacy? Who were responsible for all those statues that they want to tear down now? Who was responsible for Jim Crow laws? Who headhunted the people who supported the Underground Railroads? Who put bounties on soldiers, on Union soldiers and slaves, and families of slaves that were still back in the South? Who believed in manifest destiny? Who presented manifest destiny to the country? Where did Japanese internment camps come from? Who stopped American citizens from buying gold and said that U.S. citizens could only have 5 ounces or less of gold? And it was illegal to have gold in your home up until 77, I believe, when the gold standard was absolved. And we switched overall the American dollar to oil and OPEC. Who voted against civil rights? Oh, the great switch that they tell you about, how the party switched place. And then just one day, after almost 200 years, Democrats all of a sudden decided we're not racist. And the party switched, right? Then if the parties in the South switch, why did it take 20 years for the 13 states in the South to actually vote for a Republican, which would be Ronald Reagan? Because the rest of the country voted? 20 years. Oh, it wasn't a switch. It was a generational change. Oh, so instead of the southern states moving faster, who were behind in technology because they were literally riddled with war during the Civil War, that they were behind from an innovation standpoint, that they had to reinvent themselves and reinvest into things like the cotton gin, the seed drill, so they could harvest their crops and they could produce at a level with lumber like the U.S. when they were using old plowshares to sow their fields. And the North was using modern day technology, at least for the times. The South was about 20 years behind the North when the Civil War started. How far behind do you think it took for those backwoods towns to move to a place where they caught up with the rest of society? When their entire existence was based in racism, could it possibly be that the South just realized that their belief system and their structure no longer was indicative of what the values should represent in this country, and they finally moved away from the Southern beliefs? Isn't that more accurate? What, we don't think people can actually grow? We don't think people can change? We don't think entire states have changed their outlook and disposition towards the North? Then explain Texas. Explain Virginia. Explain Florida. Because if you think that those states that I just mentioned love the federal government, you need to read your U.S. history. The South becoming aware of who they were and realizing that if they ever wanted to prosper, living in racism and living in a time where black people were inferior was a thing of the past, is a hell of a lot more feasible than all of a sudden people woke up one day and switched parties. Because if you look, the amount of people who switched from Republican to Democrat or Democrat to Republican during that giant shift that supposedly took place in 67 or 69 or 74, they can't tell you when it was because it didn't happen. 2 people. 2. Utah, give me 2. How am I doing now? Am I still yelling? Do I need to chill out? No, I'm not going to chill out. I've been chill enough. The question is why aren't you? Why aren't you upset? We've tried the Christian way. We've tried to watch our P's and Q's and be kind and show deference to all people. You know what? I say screw that. I think it's time to call a spade, and I think it's time to drop a few bombs. And I'll have to go ahead and answer for that when I go ahead and pray for forgiveness. But guess what? I don't have a problem with saying the truth. You shouldn't either. This stuff, what they're doing to Trump, is ridiculous. Everybody knows it. The South is still trying to come back to reality. Go look at the homes. Go look at New Orleans. Go look at Atlanta. Are you kidding me? Go look at Biloxi, Mississippi. Go look at the South. Man, they're hit with a hurricane every damn year. They have to constantly rebuild. The South is in a constant, perpetual state of stagnation. And guess what? They're ridiculed and picked on by New York and California because they believe that they're uneducated and stupid. No, that's where the blue collars work. That's where the people who actually go ahead and do jobs that other people won't do. They do your energy. They do your agriculture. They feed you. They clean your water. They build your HVAC systems. They operate your cranes. They do the dangerous jobs while you guys get cushy frickin' coastal air-conditioned homes with $300,000, $400,000 a year jobs and $1 million homes, and you sit here and pretend you know what a day's work looks like because you push some pencils. The reason why you pay unemployment for those people is because those people do the hard jobs that ultimately have the most injuries. And they don't have the health care that you do. They don't have the hospitals that you do. They don't have the legal representation that you do. They can't afford to miss a day of work like you do because they don't get a month off a year. Most of those people average 3 to 5 vacation days annually in those jobs, if at all. They haven't seen pay raises since pre-COVID. They get injured more often because they do the hard jobs. And you won't work here. You want to work for Bethesda, or you want to work for LA General, or you want to work for NYU or some shit like that. And you don't want to work for the Round Hill, Virginia doctor's office. You don't want to work in Biloxi, Mississippi. Because you people want a different lifestyle and you think that anybody who's not you and who is different than you and that has a Southern accent, they're stupid or has tattoos, a t-shirt, and a hat, that they can't wax intellect with you. Well, this is one guy who can. And I love it when you underestimate Southerners. I love it when you underestimate the Rust Belt because the people here have less money than all of you pricks put together. But they donate more than any other demographic on the planet. Christians give more money that they don't have away to groups and causes, 501c3s, Christian organizations, philanthropy groups. Hell, they give back to me when they can't afford it. I've got a listener who told me, I'm waiting till next payday to give you $2. I'm waiting till next payday to give you $2. I don't want it. My God, can I donate to you instead? We are belittled. We're called deplorable. We're called gun grabbing, Bible thumping. We're disregarded as uneducated. They called us that, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump was saying the same thing like I call y'all dummies because they call us every other name in the book and don't unfriend me stand for dummies. Donald Trump said, I love the uneducated. And what he was saying is that the Democrats put that name on. The media calls us uneducated. That is their polling group. That is what they classify you. There's college and then there's the uneducated. And I'm telling you what, I've known a lot of people in college and I went to college and I know a lot more uneducated people with a degree than people without. Yeah, I'm pissed. Why aren't you? We've done the kind thing. We've done I'll pray for you thing. We've done the kumbaya and let's all hold hands. Let's be passive. Yet no more. It's time that we start standing up for ourselves. It's time that you start educating yourself on how to disagree with these people effectively. And it's not by calling them names. It's not by calling them libtards. It's not by calling them demon rats. It's by hitting their talking points and making sure that you understand the truth. So when they lie and espouse things like this on Trump or anyone else, that you have the ability to put them in their place. That is what you do. Donald Trump should hit every fast food Chick-Fil-A there is between here and California, and he should hit them all and bring a camera crew in because this isn't a dictator. They've lost their sense of humor. That is the problem with liberals. They don't have a sense of humor anymore. And because they don't have a sense of humor, they don't have the ability to have levity in their lives. This is their problem. They don't even know when he's joking. I just thought you would want to see that tonight because I thought it was awesome. And good for Trump. What a racist. The role of undecided voters in 2024. We're doing okay on time. You have to hear the Dominic Izzo thing, and you got to hear the Tucker Carlson thing. You got to. We got to do it. 2 minutes and 29 seconds. You guys know I love the Morning Joe show because they're a bunch of knuckleheads. This is an undecided voter.
I think he's been absent.
And I want you to hear this. They do a poll on the undecideds. And they basically take undecided voters from key swing states. By the way, 7% of the population is usually undecided in elections. That's the average over the last 50 years. They always decide the election. Always. Whoever gets 3% loses. Whoever gets 4% of the undecideds win. Every single time. The only time that hasn't been true is with Reagan. Nothing was going to help Mondale. Hell, Minnesota almost didn't vote for him, and that was his home state. Mondale was a twat waffle. But this is pretty cool. Watch this. Think you'll like it. I'm still on the chill out thing. How can you be chill? Aren't you sick of seeing people like Glenn Beck and Ben Shapiro who sit up there and their talking points and their suits and they talk down to you like you're an idiot? Why don't we want people with passion? Why don't we want people who talk in fuego? People who talk like not only that they care, but they're invested. There's a difference. Caring means nothing. Investment. They're willing to put their career, their life on the line to help people understand what's happening in this country. You're not hearing this on Fox. Name one thing you heard on this show on Fox. You didn't hear anything about Marjorie Taylor Greene. You're not going to hear this about MSNBC like this. They're not going to tell you about why it's important that the undecided voters in key swing states are doing this. They're not going to tell you that they decide the election and if they're swinging towards Donald Trump. This is just a blow to Biden that he can't recover from. Why is passion a bad thing? Why can't people be angry and still hold it together at the same time? Why aren't we capable of expressing two different emotions at the same time that aren't antithetical of each other? Why can't we be passionate and intelligent at the same time? Why do we have to go ahead and fold our hands and act a certain way anymore? What's the point? Help me understand. How has that gotten us anywhere? We've been passive. Do I want you to go storm the Capitol? No. Do I want you to speak up for yourself? Yes. Do I want you to call MTG's office? Yes, I do. Do I want you to get out for city council? Do I want you to run for the school boards? Do I want you to impact change in your city and local and state government? Yes, I do. Do I want you to find your own podcast? Do I want you to possibly write that book you've been waiting to do? Do you want to start a blog? Do you want to come on a show and have a voice that you can't afford to do yourself, but you want to use mine? Come on. I'll give you an hour every night. Show me what you got. Come on. We won't go live. Let's have a conversation. Let's see what you got, and I'll invite you on the show. We've had guest hosts before out in the audience. Some of them don't come around anymore. because they spent $300 on clothes and then all of a sudden thought they owned me. Whatever I can do to help. But being passive? Not anymore. It's not going to work. You have to elevate the way you communicate against liberals because they are out-shouting, outclassing, out-positioning us every single day. And I'll tell you why, because they're not breaking ranks. And the only way that these shills in Washington are going to do anything for the American people is when we are unified as a Republican Party. Let's stop worrying about the Jews. Let's stop worrying about Ukraine. Let's stop worrying about liberals. Let's stop worrying about anything else. Let's just focus on one thing. Unifying conservatives all over. I don't give a shit if you're alt-right. I don't care if you're a conservative fiscally and liberally social. I don't care if you're a libertarian. I don't care if you're a constitutionalist. I don't care about any of that. As long as you are for the Constitution of the United States and you believe in the freedoms that this country provides, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, then you are on my team. And if you do not believe in those things, you are absolutely not only an enemy to this country, to this state, but you're an enemy to me. Because I care about my freedom. You should too. Watch this video.
I want to show two more. The undecided voters were also asked how they think President Biden is doing on the economy. Take a listen.
I think he's been absolutely disastrous for the economy.
I agree. Raise your hand if you think President Trump's policies on the economy would be better for your family personally. Raise your hand. All right, so that is everybody.
Holy
President
shit.
Biden argues that his economic record has been very good. He said President Trump's was not as good. What are you keying off of? Sean, since you had the best smile and Virginia the second best smile, what are you keying off of to say President Trump's economic policies would be better?
Now, let me tell you something. First of all, doing polling in Wyoming and for other races, I've worked on 2 gubernatorial candidates and state representatives in Wyoming, their campaigns. And I will tell you, this is a better poll than 1,000 people. You have people who are on the record with their face on camera, and they're giving you their honest and straight opinion. This is better than any phone poll. But if you look at MSNBC earlier that day, they had a poll with all 7 key swing states where they showed that they were very happy with the economy, over 51% on average for those 7. That's not what this poll says. 100% of them do not like the way it is working. It's an interesting thing. Watch the rest.
I mean, my past performance of my 401k. I know it was post 2020 and everything kind of flipped around, but you can't blame everything on 2020 for forever.
We have areas here in Pennsylvania where it's just at a standstill right now. Like things are supposed to be being built and the interest rates are just way too high for people to invest and start moving around.
And Virginia, just staying with you because Pennsylvania is near and dear to Joe Biden's heart. Are there Biden policies that you would blame for the problem? And if so, what are they?
The interest rate is so high right now, and I know they're trying to cut the inflation down, but like if nobody is building, no businesses are really coming to Pennsylvania right now to keep us moving forward.
Even if you're trying to buy a house, because I'm trying to become a first-time home buyer, the prices.
No, Kevin, that's not correct. And I got to call it out. Won't matter if they don't get out and vote. Yes, that's exactly what will matter. If those people don't vote for Joe Biden, he loses. You have to remember, it's not just a vote for or a vote against. It's a lack of a vote. And if they don't show up, that cuts. Because then if they don't show up, they're convincing other people to don't show up. Do you understand? This is a huge, huge thing. We have to show up. That's what you're hopefully implying.
So high right now. It's just hard.
Is there anything Joe Biden could do or say between now and the time you vote that would make you feel differently about feeling that his policies would not be as good for your family on the economy? or have you pretty much decided that Trump's policies would be better for the economy?
I mean, I feel like he doesn't even take accountability for what's at all with what's going on in the economy. Not even accountability. Like, he's in denial that it's happening.
The point is Biden needs to hear the people, because when he's talking about the economy doing stellar, he's talking about the stock market. He's not looking at homelessness or joblessness. He's not, at Andy's point, and thinking about how much it costs to go to the grocery store. And he's gaslighting literally everyone in the process.
And Omar, you voted for Joe Biden last time, right?
Yeah.
Some really important and hard insights for the Biden campaign to hear there. And hearing all that, you might think things are pretty bad for President Biden. That was not good.
No shit, lady. Wow. What accurate reporting. Oh, that looks bad, Bob. Yeah, it does look bad because the American voter isn't buying it. Don't you remember Build Back Better? You remember that crap? Build Back Better. Not better, better. Right? Let's go ahead and pander to black people. Build Back Better. That didn't work out, did it? What about the Inflation Reduction Act? What about that? Hold on, I got to reset my camera. Hold on. This thing did this last night. Started lagging. May have to sit down for the rest of the show. That's a bummer. This happened last night. Yeah, I can't have it do that. Well, that sucks. Well, I guess I can do a quick change.
I want to show two more. The undecided voters were also asked how they think President Biden.
All right. Gathering all my windows. And Transformers, more than meets the eye. Isn't that cool? I know. I love this damn desk. And we have switched. That quick. What happens is the phone gets hot. And when the phone gets hot, it tends to chug a little bit. So I'm going to have to figure out how to switch phones, or, well, that's, because it hasn't done that on other shows. I don't know. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But honestly, this gets me to sit down. I've been standing all day. Something to think about. Let's get to the meat. We've got, 27 minutes. Nope, we can't do a commercial. Linktapgo.com, The Dumb Show. Folks, donations. Helps out. Please, if you have a chance, you like the show, you like what you hear, you're like, oh, wow, I want to hear this again. I want this to keep going. I want this to be free. This is how you do it. You can join the Dumb Club at thedumbclub.com, and that's DUM. You can go to thedumbshow.com for shirts, hats, t-shirts, all that type of stuff. All great stuff. We don't sell Chotsky shit here. Just ask anybody. Our stuff is impeccably perfect. Our coffee is made by veterans in Wisconsin, custom ordered. When you open up the bag, it smells delicious. Sell coffee mugs, hats, shirts, everything. We don't do any overseas type crap. We do everything here in the United States. And then obviously you can join thedumbnews.com if you want as well. Let's get to this one. This one's the most important to me. The Tucker Carlson thing is important, but it's not that important. This one is. And we're going to do this. Dominic Izzo. Dominic is a good friend of the show. He's been on this show many times. We love him to death. He's a good dude. If you haven't listened to his show, you can go to Spreely.tv and do that. Folks, by the way, we got 100, almost 200 people on. Hit the like button for me, please. This hat? Oh, he got a hat. Yeah, this hat's like 20 years old. This is a Game Crazy hat. This is an old hat. I'm glad he likes the hat. We sell quality stuff. Thank you. This is Dominic Izzo, and this is probably one of the most impactful videos I've seen in a long time. And I just can't say enough about it. And I've watched this video probably at least 16 times because I like it so much. I got to flip the windows. Sorry, folks. Hold on. And I would say that I've watched it at least 16 times. One more flip. I got to copy this window. All right. There we go. All right. So this is Dom. He's talking about how blacks are ultimately being erased from history. It's crazy. And his point is one of the most astute that I've ever seen. What's up? You going to bed, buddy? Yeah. All right, pal. I'm gonna take my shower and go to bed. Good night. Love you. I love you, son. Good night. See you tomorrow. Big game tomorrow. Get some rest. Yes, maybe. Yeah, maybe if it doesn't rain. If not, we'll reschedule. And this to me, I just want you to listen to this. You know what? Words don't do it justice. Take a listen.
Diversity and equality. You are.
And I'm.
You could still go live. You could still like live stream my game or something if it ever happens.
I could live stream your game, couldn't I? Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Like I could sit off a ways a little bit and watch the game when you're up, but do a show. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. I could stream a game. We'll see. That's not a bad idea, pal. Love you. All right. So Dom Izzo, just listen to this, and then we'll talk about it.
All right, with the concept of scarcity increasing value, I want to know why the liberal white left. Why did you guys not think about this when you started to oversaturate and blackwash everything? We know all the major movie characters now have to be black, and Superman's got to be black, and James Bond got to be black, and all that. And if we do a period piece based on Europe in the 1300s, the royalty there has to be black. We know this, but I want to ask a question that I don't know if you guys thought about. History is being rewritten right now through like television, movies, Netflix, all this stuff, not books. And you guys damn sure make sure that you rewrite history the way that you want it. So if scarcity has value, why are you creating it so that 3 or 4 generations now, the kids grow up and they see black people everywhere? Equally representative, if not more, right? TVs, commercials, the main stars in movies, you name it, all over. No oppression whatsoever. Complete equity and complete diversity across the board. Aren't you going to devalue the struggle they came from? Being snatched from their country, being horribly treated here in the United States, and having to rise and overcome civil rights, all that. Why are you taking away the black culture's most powerful commodity, which is their struggle and their story, and trying to falsely insert them everywhere they weren't just to create diversity and equality? You are fucking with their legacy, and you don't even know it. You're going to erase them from history.
Dude. It's such a fantastic and mind-blowing point. Think about that for a second. And I've said it, but not like that. I've said it as, look what the Egyptians did and the pharaohs did to the slaves. They disallowed them from writing. They disallowed them from reading. They disallowed and struck vocabulary, certain words from the dialect, where ultimately in the tunnels, in the slaves' tunnels, they would use pictures to convey messages. But that's what Egyptians did to the slaves. And although that's very similar to what he's saying, is they were written out of existence. And the ability for people to rise up and actually revolt against tyrannical rule was stopped. And here it's just the same. If you care so much about what happened for 400 years of our history, then why are you trying to erase it from history? Why are you changing the names of streets? Why are you taking statues down? Why are you rewriting the history book? Why are you pushing 1619 Project ideology? Why are you creating diversity hires in the workplace, which essentially is reverse racism? If your ultimate goal isn't to erase the history of African Americans in this country and devalue their sacrifices and what they went through, then what is it? I've said a lot on this show, and I have done a lot of work on this show. And I have given you thousands of hours of content, millions of words. That is the most profound thing that I have heard, and certainly better than anything I've ever given on this show. It's such an accurate statement. And I would ask you to use that. I would ask you to embrace that and ask that question. Ask that question of liberals. Why are we going to go ahead and insert African Americans in a period in time of history where they weren't? Why is Google using artificial intelligence to show our founding fathers as black? Why are we changing characters throughout history that weren't there? Why are we giving diversity roles in Hamilton? Why are we telling pilots because they're white, they can't have a job? Because that's what we're doing. It's not that we're hiring more black people, hiring more women. What's true is that we're just hiring less white people, and we're telling them that you're no longer necessary. It's a very interesting point. And Izzo crushes it. And this look right here, this look, and I hope he watches this segment. I'm sure Sarah will show him. This look is the happiest I've ever seen him, because that's the ending of the video. And I know that look because when you nail it, you get that look sometimes. He's great at cursing and being a chauvinistic dick. He's great at that. He's got it down. He's a Chicago cop, but that's not the real him. The funny thing is that I'm starting to peel back the layers on Iz, and he doesn't know I'm doing it. But every Monday when we have a show, I get him to open up more and more. And I get him to talk about things that he usually doesn't talk about on his show. And I found something that he enjoys, because one of our first episodes that we had together, he talked about how he really doesn't have a male bonding and doesn't find the necessity to have conversations and talk with people, especially men, about certain things. And I challenged him. I said, well, you just did it. And I don't think he got it, what I was saying, because I don't think he knew me well enough. But what I was saying is that if you don't find value in doing that, then why did you just do it? Because I'm a guy and we're talking online, and our shows have went from being somewhat strategic, and here are the topics we're going to talk about, to who cares what we talk about, and let's just have a conversation as friends. And in my opinion, that is an incredible moment caught on camera, because I genuinely care about the guy. You know, it's funny. I was going to stream one of our shows, and I said, hey, we got to be careful talking about COVID and everything else because of Facebook. And he's like, that sounds like a you problem. And I thought about that. And honestly, it stuck with me for the full week. And I'm like, what a dick. I'm like, I'm coming on your show. You're helping promote me, but I have channels that you don't have that are lucrative for me. And it's just the way it is. I didn't get canceled. That sucks. I hate that you did, or I hate that you don't invest in those shows and you want to be able to speak free. Well, there's some things that I can't talk about on a couple of my shows. And then I thought about it and I laughed to myself because it is a me problem. And it's what I would say to people. And that's when my respect for him just like went through the roof, because he's not phony. He's not fake. He doesn't care what you think about him as long as you think. And that's why I would encourage you to watch his show, because he doesn't care what you think about him. He just cares that you think. It's pretty cool. Dom Izzo, folks, if you haven't seen him, go over to Spreely.tv and give him a watch. You'll like his stuff. It's fun. He's a cool cat. Pretty damn interesting. Do me a favor, if you would. If you have an opportunity, go to linktapgo.com, The Dumb Show. Visit some of our sites, Twitter, everything else. We're going to end tonight in the last 15 minutes with some of your comments. Would love to hear what you guys have. If it's something you wanted to say, a question you wanted to ask. I think I got all the questions. I've done pretty well tonight without Olivia here. Let me see. Looking at all the cues. What's your take on the announcement DOJ is bringing in a massive amount of election lawyers? I think what they're trying to do is, I hope, is to get ahead of any type of cheating that will take place on either side. And I think there is going to be a lot of tomfoolery in this election. I think there's going to be a lot of things that happen, and they're going to have a lot of disputes at the local level. So honestly, I'm okay with it. For now, I want to see what the provisions are. Can someone please tell me? Okay. Mike, don't use the cue if you're not going to ask a real question. Matthew, your prediction for October surprise? I don't think there's going to be one. I was honest. Matt, I'm afraid that if American people don't wake up, we'll become a third world country. Stacey, I touched on this. The investment into the United States is too great to become a third world country. There hasn't been many countries that have reached the status of superpower who've become a third world country. This is why the same superpowers have been around for a better part of 75 years. I wouldn't worry too much about being a third world country. What I would worry about is losing our current value system in this country, which makes America great. And that is my biggest concern. So is she deceiving or confused? Yes. That was about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's see. Any other questions? Do you think the new law Wisconsin passed, it pans all outside the state to special interest money? I haven't seen it, Dean. I'll have to look it up. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Matthew, not to rain on the parade, but why about the people, particularly in the big cities, that get the handouts? What about it? Matt, do I sell visors? No, but I'll make them. I'll sell them now. If you want a visor, what do you want on it? You just want the Don't Unfriend Me logo? Or yeah, I'll make a visor. We can sell visors. We can sell anything. I think we can sell slippers. I think we can sell bathrobes and sheets and blankets. It's ridiculous what we can sell. Joseph, help me with your question. I don't understand. I want to get to this last one. You guys know I've been calling out a few people. Now, I want to be really clear. Matt, please don't read my comments. Maybe if I don't make eye contact, you won't see me. How about you just don't put Q in front of it? Because that's for people who have a question for me. And that is a fantastic comment. Amy says, Mike, if you're embarrassed about your comments, that's a you problem. Fantastic. Well struck. Matt, you are saying about Izzo is, however, the past years I've watched you get stronger in your faith, and it makes me happy for you. Thank you, Iva Lee. And I recognize you because I know I see your names. I always love it when I see people who are anniversary followers. It baffles. And there's hundreds of them. People who've been here since the beginning, and they just make, and there's a couple who I can't remember their names. I remember my very first like, and she still comes by once in a while, and I can't remember her name. I feel horrible. But she comes by once in a while. Matt, I watch you, still watching you since the very first, my first like. I remember my first like. And now we're at 190,000. We're almost at 191. Well, 190,000 to 182. It's good. All right, here's the last part. You guys know I went after Candace Owens a little bit. Candace Owens has every right to say what she wants to say. Jake Shields can say whatever he wants to say. Stu Peters can say whatever he wants to say. Alex Jones can say what he wants to say. Tucker Carlson, hi, Adeline. Everyone can say those things. I don't care. You say whatever you want. Just, I have a right to go ahead and challenge you. So I've challenged Candace Owens a little bit on some of her rhetoric. I've challenged Jake Shields on his rhetoric. I've challenged Stu Peters on his rhetoric. In fact, I went on the Stu Peters network with Deanna, and I almost didn't go on because I didn't know there was going to be anti-Semitism shit. She's not that way. She's a doll. She's an amazing lady. Love her to death. I love her show. She's awesome. She's funnier than shit. But part of the Stu Peters network, and I reached out to a couple people and I said, hey, tell me, I don't like Stu Peters. I don't like what he talks about. I don't like the way he treats people. I don't like the way he treated Liz Wheeler and a few other people. And I've heard some bad things. Should I go on his network? And I asked people who I trust. Good, Don, I want you to watch because our election coverage rocks here. I will never forget the little people. But the thing is that there is a anti-Semitism train jumping right now. Oh, what does Trump do about the big cities to gain votes? Nothing. He shows up. That'll take care of itself. If he shows up, it'll be a huge lift. I mean, he'll get 3% of the vote if he just shows up. Because they don't have, even the Democrats don't show up to the big cities. Hillary Clinton skipped Wisconsin and Michigan. So all he's got to do is show up. But I got to show this clip. And I'm going to call out Tucker because he's doing the same thing. He is riding on the train of Jew hate in this country. Now he's going to pretend I'm just asking questions in his passive aggressive bullshit. But really, this, I don't think you understand how big this is. All you got to do is go on Twitter for 5 minutes and just make a post and type in, I don't understand why Israel does this. And then your feed is going to open up with a shit ton. The algorithm is going to just inundate you with Jewish hate. And I have it because I make comments about everything. And I've made comments about Israel and I'm just inundated with it. And I'm talking like death to Jews, horrible shit. I don't think Tucker Carlson's saying that. I don't think Candace is saying that. I think they're America first. And they're so American first that they sound like everyone else is last. That's okay. You can say that. But what you don't get to do is say everyone's last and Jews are subhuman, because that's what it sounds like. Some of the things, some of the rhetoric I'm hearing, especially from Jake Shields and Stu Peters and guys like that, it's bad. Nick Fuentes, honestly, has dialed it back a little bit. I've been listening to his stuff lately, and a lot of his stuff kind of makes sense. I showed you some stuff last night that wasn't off the rails. Some of it makes sense. And when the Groypers came on here, I know what they were doing. I know they were placating. I know they were making fun of me, and I don't care. They're a bunch of children. There's nothing that they say that impacts me. And all they did was help my channel. But this shit, having Christians come on and do this is interesting. Just listen to this. Tell me what you think.
Support. If you wake up in the morning and decide that your Christian faith requires you to support a foreign government blowing up churches and killing Christians, I think you've lost the thread. Just to end on this, if you had a message for Christian leaders in the United States, whether in government or in churches or just citizens who care about the religion and their fellow Christians, what would it be?
It would be to remind them that when the state of Israel was created, it was not created on an empty land. It was created on a land that had millions of indigenous Palestinians there, including Palestinian Christians.
That's not true.
And that state...
no. There's no such thing as Palestine. When the Roman emperor went ahead and invaded that land, they created Palestinia. That's where Palestine comes from. You want to go back 200 years in history. What you don't want to do is go back 3,000 years. The Israelites have a history of being in Israel. And just because it wasn't named Israel, and just because they were pushed out by the Romans and then came back in the 40s, it is a reclamation for their land. If the Native Americans somehow weren't wiped out by disease, and they were subjugated to losing most of the East Coast, what is considered the East Coast today, to to foreign influence, whether it be the Spaniards or the English or whoever else came over. And they were put into some form of exile. And then they took time to rebuild their culture, rebuild their country, and were excommunicated again from their land and came back and took it back. Yeah, that's called conquering. And it's been happening through world history. So don't give me this shit that Palestine was there and Israel has no claim to the land and that Palestinians are indigenous, because you're an idiot.
That state they celebrated as a fulfillment of prophecy and a sign of God's state to the Jewish people. For it to become a state, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, including Palestinian Christians, were forced to leave and have never returned. Churches were closed. A friend of mine did the research and counted more than 30 churches that were closed when Israel was created because Palestinians were expelled from the land. Our numbers continue to be.
Christians are in the Israeli government. Christians live harmoniously with Jews. Yes, the Hasidic Jews, and yes, Jews that follow the Talmud are not big fans of Christians. But there are Christians who are not fans of Jews. And there are Christians who are not fans of blacks. And there's Christians who are not fans of the LGBTQ community. There are sects of religion, whether it be Opus Dei or the Southern Baptists, not Southern Baptist churches, but the extreme Baptist groups that are anti-gay and lesbian. Not every group is pure as driven snow. Even the Hindus have certain sects that are considered extremists, or Buddhists. There's non-seculars that feel the same way. For you to sit here and say that all Jews hate Christians is a ridiculous notion. Christians are openly accepted in Israel. And yes, there are groups of Jews who do not like Christians. Welcome to the Middle fucking East, okay? There's people who don't like Sunnis and Shiites and Kurds. There's people who don't like Egyptians. There's people who don't like Iranian. There's people who don't like Saudi Arabians and Kuwaitis. There is hatred for all sorts of cuts of people, but to sit here and imply that Israel hates Christianity and hates Christians when ultimately Jesus Christ chose the Jewish people and was Jewish himself, but whether you're aware of this or not, it seems that Christians keep forgetting this simple fact. You have Arabs in the Israeli government. You have Greek Orthodox in the Israeli government. You have Arabs who are not Muslim. You have Christians. What are you talking about? Can you please tell me in the Palestinian government who's Christian? Are you telling me Christians are openly accepted in Palestine? Because you're full of shit. If you're going to tell me that. You're telling me that Hamas and terrorist groups support Christianity? Give me a break. You people have never stepped foot in that land. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Decline. So we're pleading that come and listen.
Spreely TV, we're going to lose you. We love having you. Thanks for showing up. We only do a 2-hour segment because we've got till 10 o'clock, but you can join us. You can join thedumshow.com. Just go over there and click on the show and you can watch us live. We're still going to stream. We're there and you can watch us, but we cut off in like 2 minutes. So thanks. I'm going to wrap it up here soon. You're not going to miss much. We're going in just after this. So thanks for joining us tonight. Remember, Thursday probably will be here. It's supposed to rain. It means no ball game. Friday night we won't because it's Hayden's big, huge play. And here we go.
Talk to us. And my message to Christian leaders right now is there is a very, very brutal war taking place in Gaza, a war that I've described using the word genocide because it's a war that has used even starvation as a mean. And fellow Christians are suffering because of that war. It's time that Christian leaders recognize that wars is not the way, whether in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Libya. When will we learn that war does not help? When will we take Jesus' words seriously about being peacemakers, about being merciful? There must be other ways. And so it would be an invitation to listen, to learn more, and to avoid very shallow and simplistic perspectives that are not based on scripture itself, but more based on political equations. And I would plea right now, and I will continue to plead that we need to stop this war in Gaza. It's killing many, many children, women, innocent lives. It has to stop. There must be other ways. And as a follower of Christ, we have to pursue the path of peace and justice, and we have to avoid simplistic polarizations, good and evil. Come and listen, come and understand what's happening. And I plead as a Christian pastor from Bethlehem, I plead that you come and listen.
Father, thank you for your thoroughly decent and sensible analysis.
Tucker Carlson is officially on the train.
On the economy. Take
officially
a
on the train. And you know what? I'm fine with that. Tucker Carlson can have whomever he wants on his show. And I don't think there's anything wrong with listening to that side. I question the motives. Tucker has found a niche. He's found an audience. He lost it with Fox. A lot of people, his first video had like 56 million views, 90 million views. Well, this one has less than 700,000. Now, that's a hell of a lot better than most of the videos I've done. I've had one that went to 1.5 million in 3 years. That's it. Tucker is absolutely 95,000 people have seen this video, I think. Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was shared by somebody else. I don't want to get it wrong. So let me see. But what I'm saying is that his numbers, from what I saw, do not look as good as when he first came. And you got to ask the question, is his audience listening to him? Because I don't think his audience on Fox is cool with anti-Semitism. Most conservatives and Christians are fairly big fans of Jews. Most are. And whether you agree with that or not is really immaterial, because that's not what that conversation is about. But that video in particular, yeah, I was right, 594,000. That particular video, okay, so now it's went up. Okay, so now now it's at 14 million. But that's still a far cry from where he was. So, to understand 14 million views doesn't mean 14 million people watched it. 14 million people had an impression of it. So I get impressions of 3-4 million. I mean, my entire network's 292 million to 330 million on any given Sunday. But I don't have that many interactions. I have 3 million of those people who actually interact. Tucker Carlson has a vastly expansive and large audience. And I would challenge him to, and not that he would listen to me, but I would love to have him have somebody from IDF on his show. I would like to have someone from Israel come in and actually have a conversation. But if you're going to sit here and say that Catholicism wasn't one of the most brutal and tyrannical religious sects of European history, I mean, you can look at the way the English, what they did to the Irish and the Scots. You can look at the Moors and the Saxons. You can look at what the Romans did to Christians in the pits and lions. You can look at the Spanish Inquisition. You can look at the persecution of Christians in Muslim society and Arab states. Do you actually believe that Palestine Christians are openly accepted in Palestine? Give me a break. I don't know what to do for you. The people who are actually saying Muslims don't hate Christians. You have Muslims hate everybody who's not Muslim if they're extremists, and that's who we're talking about. Hamas are extremists. We're not talking about the Palestinian people. We're not talking about Arabs. We're not talking about Kurds, Shiite Sunnis. We're talking about terrorists. And they hate you. They hate Jews. They hate everybody. And you think they love Christians? Ask that Christian couple who went on that mission in ISIS territory what happened to them while they were beheaded and buried. Ask what they do to homosexuals. You're not going to sit here and tell me that Israel's hands are clean. They're not. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that the Arab nations haven't perpetuated most of these type of atrocities that have taken place. Yes, there are moderate Muslims. There's no such thing as moderate extremists who are Muslim. Annalise says, Israel is way bigger than what the maps show, but they have been giving away land to keep peace. When Abraham was told by God that every place he put... What do you mean they're bigger than they show? Have you been to Israel, Annalise? Let me know. That every place he puts his foot, they will belong to them. People would be shocked if they actually see just how big Israel really is. And when Christ comes back, everyone will see the land actually belongs to them. So I can't blame them for this war going on. They are tired of being run over. That's the truth. As far as being small or being big, there's no size disparity of Israel to geographical maps. I've done satellite tasking on Israel for most of my career. I've worked with the IDF. I've worked with Mossad. There is no size disparity that's being perpetrated against Israel. Now, if you want to talk about the actual lands of Israel and what's been taken from Syrian side, from Hezbollah and Beirut and Lebanon and Egypt, well, that's true. If what you're saying is that in the beginning of creation, Israel wasn't even on the maps prior to 1940, Israel isn't even there. But that land, if you're going to say the original land and what the Jews and have claimed to, and the Jesuits have claimed to, well, yes, I would agree with that. But if you're telling me the actual size of Israel today geographically is somehow bigger than it actually is, that's not accurate at all. Like I said, I've done strike analysis on Israel. I've done a lot of shit with Israel, and I've done a lot of satellite tasking, and there's no size disparity to Israel. But everything else you said, I completely agree with. I just don't know if I agree with that. You know what I mean? Lee says Israel is the size of New Jersey. Is it New Jersey? I said that earlier today. I don't know if that was right though. Israel, I think it is size, and Gaza is like the size of what? Like Maine or something? Size of New Jersey. Yeah, I think it is. Yep. Yeah, landmass is almost exactly the same. Yeah. Same population, almost identical land area, population per square mile. It's almost identical. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, New Jersey. I did say that. That came out of my ass. So anyway, that's my comment. Is Israel is, if we want to go ahead and talk about the original claims to Israel, and that's for a historian. I can't answer that. But is Israel the same size as what it's showing today on the maps? It is. Folks, I appreciate you watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Just one more thing. I know we talk about the donations a lot. We talk about our site a lot. Go to thedumshow.com. You can pick up hats, t-shirts, all sorts of cool stuff. Seriously, give it a chance. There's plenty of good stuff over there. Prices are moderate. If you join the Dumb Club, you actually get discounts for that. We're going to have the discounts, getting that all done. We're almost done. Terry says tomorrow. He's going to work till like 2 o'clock in the morning tonight. He's amazing and get stuff done. If you have not had a chance, you can go to linktapgo/thedumbshow. What that does for you, you might ask, like, what is that? Well, it's a site that gives us all of our websites, all of our links in one spot, which helps us tremendously to share the word of the Don't Unfriend Me show. So if you go there, show you what it looks like. This is it. Pretty simple. Has all these links. And here you can donate to the show. Takes you right to PayPal. 100% secure, 512 megabyte of encryption. You can donate right here to the show, and you can do a one-time or a monthly. That helps out. You can also tip the show, which is kind of cool. You can go directly here, and you can have your name in lights if you tip the show, which helps out tremendously. We put our top 10 there. So if you don't want your full name on there, don't do it. But the other thing is we got the Dumb store. We got plenty of clothes and things that you can come and see. And you can see all amazing shirts, great stuff. All for you, whether it's long sleeve, short sleeve, coffee, whatever it is, we've got it all right here at the Dumb Show. You can also sign up for the Dumb Club right here as well, which will give you discounts and huge savings to different clubs, And there's 3 different levels and tiers that you can sign up for. And then I know this is a lot, but I appreciate you being patient. You can go to show and you can find all of our recorded shows and podcasts. A lot of people go, you have a podcast? Yeah. It's the same thing as our show. You can actually go over on Anchor FM. You can go to also Spreaker. We're there. And then if you want, you can also watch us on Rumble or watch us on Spreely TV. But everything's right here for the show. If you want to see the latest show, it's pretty simple. Just come over here, and it's always in this window, and you can click it and start watching the show. Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. That's Don't Unfriend Me. That's our network. Please do me a favor, stop on by. Once again, helping out with donations is a huge thing. It doesn't matter whether it's $5 or whatever. Anything helps out the show. So if you have a chance, go ahead and do that. Keep us free. We'll be back tomorrow, a.m. I should have a recorded show tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to come on live. There'll be a recorded show. We'll have news in the afternoon. And I think we will be live as long as it doesn't rain. If it doesn't rain, we'll be here. And if it does rain, we'll be here. And if it doesn't rain, we're going to be at the game. Friday, we'll most certainly be at my daughter's play, which we're very excited. We'll stream a little bit of that to you to take a look at. Can I do that? No. I did last year. I won't do it. She told me no. I forgot. She told me no. So the answer is no. I won't, but whatever. Question: if DUM Club members don't live in the U.S., can some benefits be given to someone else? I don't know. I don't know. But we'll figure it out, Mel. You know me. We'll figure it out. God bless everybody. I appreciate you. Care about you. I'll see you tomorrow. Mel, we'll figure it out. Just do it. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And God bless. Thanks. Like, share, and subscribe. The likes are at 146. I would love to get to 175. Those 119 people, if you haven't said like, share, love, and all that, please do it. Thank you. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.